Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming in today, you're very, very welcome and great to see you all here. I trust you enjoyed my last video on that song from the 1980s from Black Lace, Agadoo, do, push pineapple, grind coffee. Yes, we do all sorts of songs in this genre. This is the song that outwardly you hate, but in that deep down in the mirror center of who we are, we love it because it sold 1 million copies. So huge, number 2 in the UK. So it's great to do that one. Well, going to an Australian rocker, but his story started in Lagos, Nigeria in 1957. He was born with his dad, who was a bit of a political attaché in the country at the time. But it was around 1954 that the family moved to Victoria, Mount Eliza. And that's where James Reyne pretty much grew up, and I suppose got to know Australia, got to know the people, and got to learn music. And James Reyne is absolutely, he's a bit of a master musician, songwriter, all sorts of things. He's got a very unique voice as well. So Victoria, Mount Eliza, that's where he grew up. There was a few bands at the start, Spliff Reach, and then Clutch Cargo, and that band would morph into the iconic Australian Crawl in 1978. Now, I did Australian Crawl a little while ago. These guys became very well known on the pub circuit and were absolutely massive in the 1980s. Weren't around for that long, but very, very significant in the scheme of things. Between 1980 and 1986, 7 studio albums. And they sold around 1 million albums in those 7 years. Pretty amazing, absolutely, for Australia, that's for sure. And I thought we'd better get a live song from Australian Chorus where you got their iconic rocking Things Don't See. So here's James Reyne in a bit of a younger self. But James thought, well, after that, a record company it's only going to be a matter of time for a record company. He said, hey, James, you should have a solo career. It's all good. We got your back. So out in 1987 came the self-titled album. This is a pretty massive album for James Reyne. And off that album, we've got Fall of Rain. We've got the official clip of that one. Now, this song is a breakup song, absolutely. But I want to take this one step further and look at empires. They're those things, those big things, they tend to take over a previous empire. We think about, the Babylonians being taken over by the Persians, and the Persians being taken over by the Greeks. And then we've got Rome in there somewhere as well. We all know that Rome it imploded through power struggles and all the rest of it. I mean, when you've got the whole Mediterranean as your empire, it's very hard to keep control of all of that, including Africa and Europe and the Middle East. So pretty big. But, it fell at one point. And, there's no shortage of times when empires have fallen. They've either fallen because they've been overtaken by somebody, or they've fallen because they've imploded within. And, empires can only stay together for so long before they collapse, because they're normally founded on the wrong things. Now, one thing I will say about Rome, though, is that they did actually come up with some pretty good ideas, including roads and aqueducts. And certainly around the time of Jesus, when he was around, the Roman governor was trying to get him off. So they had a pretty good legal system, but in amongst all of that, they were also pretty ruthless. I mean, who'd invent crucifixion as a way to die? And so Rome thought they had it pretty good. Now, if you went to Rome, it was a pretty amazing place. And it's a place that you just had to remember. Of course, it was Rome, of all places, at the centre of the world. But so empires fall. I want to take this concept of empire one step further and look at a couple. And you might think, well, where does an empire start in a couple? Well, it normally starts with one of them. And one person says, well, I'm just going to start exerting a little bit more influence, a little bit more control. I want things to be done my way, because you know what? My way is better than the other person, so I'm just going to exert my way. So there's nothing but difference between that and an empire. It's like a takeover or conquest of the other person. The last thing we want to do is do that, because a partnership is based on equality. And you certainly countries around the world which try to be equal the best they can. I mean, I don't think it exists anywhere, but they tend to have a pretty civilized society. And so, like with democracies, I suppose, we think about democracy in terms of relation. That is an even building, equal partnership. No one walks in front of the other person. You walk side by side. How many couples do I see? Often the woman actually walking ahead of the guy. There's not that togetherness and witness that empires just destroy that. So the best thing we can do is not start an empire in the first place. How do you know an empire is being started? Well, it starts with a little thought that says, hey, I'm not going to give in on this particular one. I'm going to try and get my way at all costs. And before we know it, the other person who might have given way to you because it's just too hard, they start to become distant. Romance lingers, stops, passion stops, all the rest of it. Next minute, the empire has fallen. How many songs talk about, now it was really, really good one day and now it's not. How many songs talk about that? You can't believe you go out of love, in love, then you're out of love again. How do you get from one to the other? Well, it's because of empires and empire building. So the best thing we can do is just to check in with each other and say, hey, look, are we still on the same page? Are we kind of together here? Are you feeling at all yucky about anything? And if the other person is, well, you need to take stock of it and think, well, how can I do things differently? Have I started empire building in my head? Power is quite a, attractive thing, isn't it? I must admit, I'm not sure. I don't get power myself, but power is an attractive thing. And if you get power over another person, you think you're pretty cool. Next minute, your relationship is failing. So let's not build empires because we don't want the fall of Rome. Because then what might happen, we'll get to 1989. In fact, there's actually a few similarities in these songs today. 1989 out came Hard Rain. This is the second album for James Reyne. And off that, we've got the song House of Cards. We all know what happens with the House of Cards. It normally doesn't stand up. It's very, very fragile indeed. Well, that's what happens when you have empires. House of Cards will fall. So we've got a kind of live, kind of official clip of that one. 1991, we've got Electric Digger Dandy, and this song probably needs to come first. The song Reckless was a massive Australian crawl song, but James thought actually we could probably just do this song a little bit differently because it was very, very slow in the original. Let's just make it a little bit lighter. It was a beautiful version actually. We've got a beautiful live acoustic version of Reckless. We probably need to take that before Fall of Rome and say, don't do empires, it's reckless to do so. And so we've got a live version of that one. Because if it all comes too far, you get to 1992, he did this duet with James Blundell. This won a Country Music Award. Way Out West, where everything is just wild. I left my job and I left my wife. I headed out west for a brand new life. That's exactly what happens because we don't know how he left his wife or why he left his wife. When you think about the song, you think, well, it's pretty brave to do that. Good on you for setting it free. But who knows what happened in the relationship? He might have been an empire builder. And, well, she doesn't deserve him. Or vice versa. If she's the empire builder, she doesn't deserve him. So, vice versa. We always look at both sides of the coin in this channel because, there's equality in empire building. Absolutely. So we've got a live version of James Blundell and James Reyne singing Way Out West. So James Reyne's had a pretty amazing career really in lots of ways. Just remember those 7 studio albums with Australia Crawl. Then from 87 to 2020, he's had 12 more studio albums. So that's 19 studio albums in all. 5 live albums, 5 compilation albums and 1 EP. And very, very acknowledged by the Governor-General in 2014. James got an Order of Australia medal for his contribution to Australian music. So it's really, really good to get him, get that acknowledgement because when you have been as significant as James Reyne has so many awesome songs. I didn't cover Hammerhead, Motor Running Way Too Fast. A few other songs of James Reyne's as well have all been massive hits for him. So it was only a matter of time before the Governor General was going to give him an Order of Australia medal. So it's pretty good to do that. So let's not do any empire building. Let's continually check in with each other about whether we're doing that or not, because we don't want to do that. We don't want to be reckless in that sort of stuff. We don't want houses of cards, and we don't want to have to go way out west to start a new life. So that's very much the warning of today. So if this is the links to those 5 clips in the description below, and I've also included my last video from Black Lace, just for something completely different. If one of the things you need to Agadoo do this year is to stop the empire building, well, there could be a bit of a warning about Agadoo doing something, even if it's confronting and it hurts. So I've got their video if you want to recap on them. Well, that's it for today. If this is your first time to Life Reflections and Music, or you've come back for another one, how great to see everybody here. And it's really great. It's just really great that you have joined me. Well, next time we're going to get onto the J. Giles band. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.